Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dreams Unveiled with your host, Daun, Whittaker, and
Melissa Salazar.
We're so happy to be here. And look, I have two arms here visible.
The lobster claw's gone.
Yes. The cast came off on Tuesday morning, so very happy about that.
Whoop, whoop. Stiff.
I'm still working on it, but it's okay. It's all good. So, how are you doing? Having a good week?
I'm doing great. It's warm. It's warming up. Yard work. All the spring things that I feel like I'm just ready to start planting plants.
Well, I'll tell you, my grandson will be here all weekend. I cannot wait to get outside. I'm putting that boy to work.
Yeah.
We're going to be working, and I'm pretty happy about it.
So, Dawn, tell me where our dream is coming from this week.
Yes, so you will be introduced to Connor. Connor is from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. I know.
Shout out Massachusetts.
Very happy to have this dream. I used to actually live in the Berkshires for a very brief period, so this is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
And this dream's interesting. This is a very short dream. There's not going to be a lot of detail. But last week, we looked at the dream about the lonely person in the spaceship contemplating things. And he woke up from the dream, took his dog out, came back in, and continued the dream. So what that means is that his subconscious mind is saying, we need to address this. You're not getting away this easy. We have to do this. We have to address this and do something. So I think that's a big deal. And we're going to see that in Connor's dream as well, but on a bigger scale. He literally had very brief dreams about the same thing 3 days in a row. So I'll lay the background. I'm not even going to read this one because it's not so much, but here's what I want you to know about Connor because I think this is very important. First of all, he works in a pretty stressful environment, and they have had a new project that has significant, strong deadlines and parameters that he has to follow. So the stressful environment is even more stressful. And this is somewhat of a long-term thing. This isn't just like a project for a couple of months.
Yeah.
He's really struggling with that, as is everybody else, which makes that environment, just a big ball of stress. He had a little trip, just a weekend getaway planned, because he needs a break. I'm sure they all do. I wish employers would accommodate and recognize the need to make sure that your employees are being refreshed and not getting so burned out.
Yeah.
Especially in a time when people really need to work. But neither here nor there, he had a weekend getaway. I don't know where he was going, but I know he was going to a cabin. So I picture somewhere in a real kind of wooded area or something, just very restful and away from technology, away from everything. That's my picture. I know he was really looking forward to it. And what happened is his boss called him like the night before and said, listen, I need you to work Friday. And of course he said yes. And he recognized the importance. He's a good worker. He's very loyal. And he ended up meeting his wife at this place. And I think this place was like probably 4 to 6 hours away. He made it sound like that was this just drive up and back. That was a loss of time with her, right? A big loss. So he just did an overnight and came back, not refreshed. And he had the dream the next night. So I know the dream was spurred on because of this break and not really having this break. But there's one other thing that I gathered from talking to him is he's a pessimist. He is somebody, and he shared a little bit of his history. I'm not going to share some of that, but he is somebody that has been disappointed so much in his life. There's scripture said, hope deferred makes the heart sick, which is really talking about being disappointed over and over and how it affects somebody. That he really has, he's almost a catastrophizer. He really, really expects, he has an expectation that bad things are going to happen. So he's so resigned. He's sharing, I I really expected this to happen. This kind of thing always happens to me.
Yeah.
And I do want to say to Connor about this, no, Connor, it does not have to happen that way. You need to understand that when you're thinking that way in your conscious mind, and your conscious mind is entertaining those thoughts and those words, your subconscious mind just absolutely believes that's your reality. It's plain and simple. It has no choice. It's completely informed by your conscious mind. In psychology, we have a phrase called self-fulfilling prophecy, how you can create a demise and negative happenings just by really manifesting them through believing that they'd happen. What I'm talking about is faith, but just faith in the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. You know, we have faith in God, right? You know, so we look at things very differently. But when you have faith in negative things are going to happen, what's going to happen is that you're going to start walking that out. Faith is an action word. Faith is not just some passive thing. It's action. And when you start having those expectations, your life is going to resemble those expectations, plain and simple. Yeah. So it's very important. And I did let Connor know. I said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you. You've got to come against that. You need to set up your next weekend getaway. I don't care if it's 4 months out. Right. You need to have it. You need to look forward to it. And you need to protect your mind and your thoughts about that. And allow yourself to look forward to it. And you need to start making those changes. Those changes are important. So anyway, I gave you all of that. Now let's talk about the dream. The dream's the quickest part of this.
Yeah.
So dream one, the night he got back. Friends, and I don't know that they were really friends or acquaintances. There were people that he held in high regard, invited him to play golf. And in the dream, he thought that was wonderful. He felt privileged.
Pristine, you know, like on the top.
So he was excited about that. And that was, and so he's in a really good mood in the dream. And that was just the extent of the dream right there. There was no more to that. He was invited. He never has played golf before. That's worth noting. All right? Because that's a big deal too.
Yeah.
Night number 2. So this is 3 nights. It's a dream trio. Kind of like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now we have the dream trilogy. Night number 2. He goes to play golf that he was invited to the night before, and he doesn't have his clubs. He has no clubs or anything to play with. He does not have the tools, right?
The anxiety.
So the anxiety, yes. Day 3, he has his clubs, but they're all deformed, and so he can't play golf. He can't golf with them. One of them he described as like, yeah, it went up, and then it went over, and then it went back down. There's no way to hit a ball with it. So what we see, those are his 3 dreams. There wasn't much detail. That's what he walked away with. And this is an escalating performance anxiety that followed this brief rest, this not enough refreshing that he really needed. We need to take breaks. We need to rest. Even God rested, right? We need to rest. We're made that way. This is why dreaming is part of our healing process at night, because during the night we heal.
Yeah.
Sleep helps us heal. If you have an animal and I had an animal that actually broke a bone, broke a leg, and they wanted to amputate it because it was so bad. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think so. It was a cat, not just an animal. It was my kitty cat. And she slept like for days almost. It seemed like she was always sleeping, and then she got up and it was fine. She didn't even have a limp, right?
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I did not listen to my vet.
Well, I mean, and doctors tell you to sleep. They tell you to rest up.
That's right. So I think that he needed that rest, and his brain is now screaming to him, you cannot continue to go at the pace that you're going without consequence.
Yeah.
So that's the whole dream. So let's tear apart just a few pieces of it, because that's what we're here to do, tear apart dreams. So the idea about golf really,
golf with the boys.
That's right. Which, here's what this really is talking about. He's never played before. It's talking about the new project, what he's working on now, this new level of exertion and energy needed. This whole new client that their company has. That's what this is. And that he is already in a very stressful work environment. And now it's really been turned up. It's on steroids now. So that's absolutely the golf thing. So golf represents, hey, just think of this over the three. You're really good at what you do. You're part of this. We need you, right? This good feeling of I'm included, the camaraderie, all of that.
Yeah.
Day 2, I forgot my clubs. I do not have the resources and tools to do what is expected of me. Okay, that's day 2. Day 3, I have the tools, but they don't work. They're not adequate. They're not sufficient. I cannot get the job done. So what we are seeing is an escalation of performance anxiety after a time of rest that he was probably, because he's a pessimist and he has had so much disappointment. I could see his ride there and back going, of course, I'm not going to get all of this. I really needed this. Now it just seems like I have to do this, and it's taking so long, and I lost the drive time with my wife, right?
Right, I see it, yeah.
And when you do that to your mind, you are really creating some changes. You know what? Almost 90%, they say about 85%, almost 90% of all sickness and disease comes from our negative thinking. Think about that. Almost 90%.
Yeah.
There's a correlation between cancer and unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is probably the height of negative thinking, right? And they see a correlation between unforgiveness and certain types of cancers. About 51% of cancers that the study was talking about seem to have a relationship with unforgiveness. Doesn't mean the unforgiveness caused it, but I'm going to tell you, it wouldn't surprise me if it did. When we're angry all the time, when we're miserable all the time, our body, our mitochondria, we are not taking care of ourselves. It is so important to really have an understanding of this. Don't resign yourself to anything. You can believe up here that you are healed. You can believe that you are well, that you are having a good life, that you are blessed. You can choose to believe that. There's choice in this. And that choice, believe it or not, regardless of what your eyes see, that choice is a game changer.
Sure is.
So.
Sure is.
Yeah, I think that's all I got on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot for these little dream bursts.
Right, but I think Connor needs a little break. I think Connor needs a break, and I think he needs to realize he does have the tools in his job. And
you know what? You're right, he needs a break. And he also needs balance in his day-to-day, so he's having time to refresh.
Mm-hmm. Have some me time, Connor.
That's right.
Self-care is a huge thing.
That's right. And self-care really needs to be refreshing. It's for different people, that's different things.
Yeah.
My husband thinks it's crazy that for me, getting out on a bicycle and riding 40 miles is refreshing, but it is. It doesn't have to look like it does for everyone else. Doesn't mean you have to lay on a beach. I am not a lay on a beach person. You like hanging out on a beach.
I like hiking.
I'm going to be
hiking. I like going out and just my refresh is just take me tent camping.
We meet frequently at the beach and get on the jet ski, and we do love that. So I just want to share, this is important for everybody. This dream really has information that everybody needs to hear.
I think so too.
So anyway, please, if you have a dream, we need it. We would love to hear it. The more diversified these are, the more interesting this channel is. You could send a dream to dreams@daunw.com. I really encourage you to do it. Make sure I have a way to contact you, and you will be featured on here. We'll let you know when.
And like, subscribe, and share.
Please, we need you. This doesn't work without you, but we really love doing it. So help us to do what we like to do.
Sweet dreams.
Have a great night. Oh, Bill, do the sweet dreams again.
Sweet dreams, guys.
Have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.